Hey, it's Kathy O'Bear, and I'm starting something new today. I'm going to start doing weekly Facebook Lives on designing facilitation tips. So today, I want to share some of the things I'm thinking about and doing differently in this pandemic, how to do live training / meetings in this pandemic. So first of all, know your audience, and that just get in your soul. They are juggling, going through so much, and their bandwidth might be so limited or not anything, given all the emotional stress they're having, the pandemic, the unexpectedness, the fears, anxieties, anger. They're juggling home, juggling school, juggling elder care maybe. So all kinds of things. Maybe they're feeling ill and wondering if they've got it. So just know your audience. And is this the right time to do a training? Can you share the information in short pre-recorded videos that people can watch over the next month? Can it wait till after the major peak in the pandemic is almost, if not all over? Is it really a topic that's a priority this time, truly relevant? So instead of a nice thing to do, really thoughtful, is it useful and of service? Now in this time, I'm finding some of the folks coming to communications, connections, Tuesday, Friday, coming to those. Some of them have more bandwidth for professional development. So check in with your folks. And then what are the topics they're wanting, have interest in? Equity, inclusion, foundational work. And then make sure that whatever you're doing, use this time to realign with your core mission. So much spread and out of scope things happen when we are just doing our business. This could be a time to really refocus. What are our missions, our core values, and what are we doing that's furthering, accelerating, and what's not? So if it's not required professional development, then you may want to think about how you want to offer it. I'm going to be offering a new webinar May 6th on developing internal capacity around the Inclusion Partner Program. I'm not doing it now because I don't think people have the bandwidth, many, to really be thinking long-term infrastructure resources, so I'm waiting a month. I think people will be a little more settled. Some people might be through the peak unless it comes back. So all these things we have to be thinking about. Now here's some logistics that I'm thinking about. You want to have the training live and easy to access. And of course, recording it, easy access to the recording. Sending the handouts again ahead. I'm going to have like a website where people can go and print off. But remembering not everybody has a printer, so making sure your slides have enough on them, though not too much, so not a lot of text, but people don't have to have the handout. Shifting to less time. I have a 2-hour live something here locally. And they asked, I offered, can I do it virtually? Well, I'm like, people don't have the capacity to be online for 2 hours, much less an hour. So I'm going to cut it down to just the bare essentials. I think it's being an ally or something. 45 minutes of interactive content, and then maybe some time for Q&A for people that want to stay on. I think people have far less attention span this time, far more stress, and I don't even know. Today, I've dropped things 4 times, including spilling some, whatever this is called. So I don't even know how much I'm in a roller coaster of emotions or the unexpected dynamics. And so many folks have a personal connection with somebody who's sick, if not in the hospital, if not have died. So just keep breathing. Is what we're doing critical? And people know at any moment their lives could change. I was on a call yesterday. Somebody literally got a text from their partner that said, our son who's been sick, the doctor says get him to the hospital emergency room. Can't imagine. Now, you're planning your 45 minutes, say, and then go back and cut it 50%. Again, I'm not sure I do this, but it's a good idea because things are going to take longer. I'm going to recommend more pausing, more reflection time. So if you only had half the time, what would you cover? Now keep the other activities as I wish I had, and you can always fill them in if you realize things are moving along. I want to make sure you have the slides available ahead of time, whether that's on the intro website, and that they're set up so people can use them in accessible devices. And some people learn better by having the slides with them while you're talking, while you have them up. On Zoom, I use slides and then I'm up in the little corner. But let me be really clear, very little text. And if you use images or graphics, you talk it through because some folks may not be able to get on with their bandwidth or what device is available. They may not be able to get on except calling in an audio. So you have to be really conscious of accessibility in so many ways. To start, if you've been on any of my live things, except this one, I've had people breathe and get grounded and do a couple activities. I've sent out well wishes. I hope you're safe and well. And then you may say, let us know what you need so you can be more present and learn in this live training. Just send me something in the chat. By the way, have somebody else watching the chat for questions and comments, and make sure they have permission to interrupt you and say, ooh, Kathy, slow down a minute. We got this question, or this is going on. Yes, people are listening live, but for me, I got to keep remembering people are having all kinds of interruptions, distractions, and just go with the flow. I was on a call yesterday. Someone's 6-year-old came up and climbed in their lap, and it was a one-on-one coaching session. It went on for about 5 minutes. So I just kind of hung out and learned what most people with children might be experiencing as they're trying to do school, childcare, as well as work at the same time. And I say to people, do what you need to do. You'll get the recording. And then start with the reflection activities. It could be some breathing and meditative, a couple minutes of that. Anything to get present. On my community connections, I do a Facebook Live afterwards, and I share kind of what we do. So I probably now have 15 that I've at least done, but a couple that came to me today from other people. Ask people to breathe a few times, get in their chairs, and then look around and find something red where they are, and just kind of breathe as they look at it. And then look and find something blue. Now, if people are colorblind, and you know that. Part 2, Kathy Obear, design facilitation today. I just learned something. If you set an alarm, it will interrupt your Facebook Live. So just a few more things. We're talking about how to do training live, virtually, in this pandemic. So, have people in the beginning breathe in and think of what they're grateful for, what brings them joy. Now, I always want to make sure, even in live trainings, you're asking people, how are you doing? If you want to just get centered, or put in the chat, or maybe come on live, and always model how you're doing. It gives people permission to get honest. And offer support. Again, what can I do to have this training be the best opportunity for you in these next 45 minutes? So make sure you're using slides to talk through each one and give examples and stories. Make them come alive. People have probably little bandwidth to learn anything new, much less bring in details and facts in one way. Communication. So stories can enliven, examples can make it applied to the work environment, how they can use the information right now. Make sure you repeat, scaffold, summarize, transition, repeat, because folks to remember is going to be much less these days for many. And then pause more often. If you ask a question, pause much longer than usual. People might have to figure out how to get online. There might be a distraction they're trying to manage, or they're feeling triggered about something. So give people a little more time for chat, conversation, as well as coming on live. I'm going to try out breakout rooms. Never really done them. I could have 10 to 100 people on this live thing I'm doing in a couple weeks. But they said they could randomly assign them. I'm going to give them maybe a 5-minute activity on a slide, give them a warning to come back, and then come back and debrief. Plan several activities, because listening for 45 minutes, I don't have room for 5. You're probably realizing I'm now going on for 10. So activities to slow things down, to give people time to absorb, reflect, and they might be navigating children or pets or something. So it gives them a place to then go do something while they're having a few minutes to do an activity and then come back, share what they learned in the chat. Of course, always model how to do it live and give very clear directions. And finally, once you get the recording, maybe chunk it down, as this happened unintendedly. If it's 45 minutes, chunk it down maybe into 2 or 3 sections. Send it out with a summary of key points, takeaways, and clearly where they can find the slides and all that. Now, I want to suggest that you plan and give a template to supervisors to debrief. So let's say you do the training next week. Maybe that following week or 2 later, every supervisor gets all the materials, and then here was a summary, and these are 3 debrief questions. Now, not everybody would have watched it, but it gets in the line of supervision, which could increase the chances that people might prioritize. The supervisor might get it, but make sure there are no negative consequences if people did not do it. And acknowledge It'll be live. Record it as long as you want. And hope you get to it, given your lives, and you come first, your families come first. Some ideas that I'm thinking about: how do you do training virtually during a pandemic? If you have more, send them to me at Kathy@drkathyherbert.com. And every week, I'm thinking Thursdays, I'm going to do something else, and then people on my list will get these. But if you'd like more about how you design Facilitate, I do have a very intense self-paced and virtual time with me course, Design Facilitation. You can find that and lots of free resources, drkathyherbert.com/events. Designing, facilitating, powerful workshops on equity, inclusion, social justice. Thank you for being my first Facebook Live around this topic. I plan to do one every week. All the best during this pandemic, and thank you for all you're doing, supporting people around you virtually. Together we can. Take good care.